I think championship leadership, I think that whole idea of winning is all raveled and coiled up into this like thought process of, are we willing to be obsessed with something to take it to the finish line?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back, Championship Leadership Podcast. And I can't wait for today. Todd Saylor. Todd, thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Oh man, Nate, I got to tell you, we did the pre-interview and we should have had the stinking camera on.
We should
We're
have.
rocking and rolling
I
already.
agree.
This crowd's not ready for us.
Yeah, that's right, man. I hope they didn't miss our best. So we'll see what we can do for them. I have a feeling we got more to come.
Yeah.
So I always like to kick it off. Championship leadership. What's that mean to you when you hear championship leadership?
And the first thing I thought of when I heard championship leadership was I just thought of the word winning, right?
Yeah.
Winning. And I don't know if that's the same for everybody, but I think we're cut in the same cloth, man. I mean, we'd like to win. And I think the world right now doesn't always want to embrace people who want to win. Right.
Yeah.
And so the second word that came to my head was obsession. Right.
Oh,
And
all right.
yeah, I think championship leadership, I think that whole idea of winning is all raveled and coiled up into this like thought process of, are we willing to be obsessed with something to take it to the finish line? Right.
Yeah.
Like you're an athlete, you're a 100-mile dude. You're like, you may slow down a little bit, but you keep going. You don't have an opportunity. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, the point of the matter is you got to go the distance. One of my favorite quotes in my first book was, it's not just the efforts that we make, but more so the distance we're willing to go. So those are my thoughts, brother.
I love it. Yeah. Well, you said something about winning. Why do you think that is? I kind of agree. I think, I don't know. It's almost like it's taboo to want to win in these days in some ways. What's up with that?
Well, I mean, I don't. I just
come on, Ted. Don't hold back on me now.
Because the climb. Well, I'm not going to hold back on it. I just don't know if you guys, if your audience is ready to understand that, like, we're called to win in this world, man.
Yeah.
We didn't wake up to be half-ass, right?
Right.
Like a wired differently person. You know, I'm the author of the books, The Brand, The Attitudinal Disorder, right? Wired differently. And we wake up different. We go to bed different. We cry different. We fight different. We win different. We lose different. We do everything differently, right? We're stinking adverbs. We're not just a meager adjective describing a noun. We're differently, man. And differently people want to win, right? And I think that the culture of our country has shifted a little bit, that it's not as important to win, but it's more important to just try.
Yeah.
And that's where they lose me. Yeah. It's not just the efforts that we make, right? It's not this idea of trying. It's this idea of finishing. It's this idea of winning. Now, when I say winning, sometimes I think people get hung up with the number one prize, but at the end of the day, winning is completing the project. Winning is completing the race that you're in. Winning is taking a hold of this plan and executing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think some people have this feeling that, well, if someone wins, then someone has to lose. Right. And I think more so what you're saying is like, we can all win. We can all win together. I mean, there's certain things where, there's going to be a loser, and that's okay. Like, it's all right to take an L every now and then to hopefully come back better and stronger.
Yeah, but I'm not saying everybody gets a participation prize either, Nate.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Right. No, for sure.
We play to win.
Yeah.
I just did a podcast this morning, all built around the movie Troy with Brad Pitt.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Achilles. And this dude came out fired, and there was no question he was going to kill that dude, or he was going to be killed, right? That's winning, right? That's winning. And he won for the whole team, right? The whole country. But bottom line is, winning is to win, to literally conquer the adversary. Yeah. But also, I think when I coach and talk to people about their businesses and striving for their entrepreneurial success in life, that I'm one of these rare, I don't know if I'm rare or not, but I'm one of these guys that I'm not hung up on you becoming a millionaire. I mean, I want you to become a successionaire.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between a successionaire?
What's that?
Well, a successionaire is this idea that we dovetailed on winning. So this idea of becoming a successionaire is I teach people to create a plan and then to execute it. If you create a plan and you execute it, then you will aspire to be a successionaire, right?
Mm-hmm.
The most successful people in the world know two things. What? They know what they want and they go get it. They
It's
know what
amazing
they
how
want.
many people don't know what they want. Right?
Bro,
Crazy.
it's number one question when we're coaching people. You do it, you know it.
Yep.
They don't know what they want. We know where to start, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know we talked a little bit. So you played some college football. Hall of Famer, by the way. We talked to a Hall of Famer here for what Manchester, did you say?
Yeah, a little school called
Manchester University.
Just a
Where's
long
that
time
located?
ago, Nate. Indiana.
Indiana.
Northeast area of Indiana.
What'd you play?
I was a wide receiver.
Okay.
Actually, that's a lie.
How tall are you?
I was a split end, right?
Yes.
I'm 6'1". I played 6'1", 185 pounds.
Okay. Lightning fast.
No, I wasn't. That's
quick.
why I wanted.
You're super quick.
I was smart, right? Like, so it was a small college, but I played 4 years. I had great success. Lots of.
You're Steve Largent.
Yes.
Yeah.
They even named the stadium.
Man, they don't talk about him nearly enough anymore, do they? That guy was so good.
I got all that, but the bottom line was I knew how to run a route, and I didn't have that downfield speed. I was like a 4.6, maybe 4.6. And so they put me at split end. They don't play that position anymore. It's more like that stand up tight end, run us across the middle. I make the catch, right? I would always make the catch. So that was my calling. And honestly, that's how I really would like to think. I want people to remember me, the possession receiver that was brave enough to go across the middle when nobody else was. And we don't have a position for him. So let's call him a split end, right?
Split end.
So that's
Well, that's kind of the slot guy nowadays.
Yeah, but they're a little quicker. They're a little quicker. They're in motion.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, how did you get on your path to what you do today? What is it that you're doing today?
Wired Differently. Wired Differently is an amazing journey that I'm basically going to take out my entrepreneurial career with. I own 14 organizations, businesses across the country. We have 4 really, really strong national brands: Tom's Donuts, the donut capital of the world; Wired Differently, the virtual MBA and the coaching academy for entrepreneurial business people. Payserve Systems is my nationwide company, and we're the largest HCM in the country, in the US, of producing payroll and HR needs for over 1,000 employees or more in the UKG ready software. Wow. So that's an amazing thing we've done. And I own 3 staffing companies, You Matter Staffing. So those are my entrepreneurial mindset. Those are my entrepreneurial victories, if you will, my wins. But most importantly, right now, I'm venturing onto this coaching syndication called the Wired Differently Coaching Academy. And I love talking about it. I love building people. Our job is to build people personally. My job is to build them spiritually, and my job is to build them profitably. And I think if we can triangulate all 3 of those, Nate, we're going to have winner, chicken dinner, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, talk more. I want to talk about your spiritual walk a little bit, because you saw my sleeve. I don't show up in a tank top every day, but the thinner, the leaner, the more jacked I get, the less clothing you're going to see on me for a while. Like once the 6-pack abs come in, like you might not catch me in a shirt for a while.
So can I take mine off?
Yeah, let's go. Of course.
I think if the people are voting on it, I'm going to take mine off, and I'm going to say, so how old are you?
46.
46. So by the end of this show, I'm taking my shirt off.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm going to show you my tattoo. All right. You think we're going to get some likes and views for that?
So we'll get a few views on that for sure.
All right. Well, I don't look like you, but I'm taking it off.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I'm
Yes.
gonna let her rip potatoes.
So, so what's, and then of course I see a necklace you get a cross on, and so talk to us a little bit. Obviously that's an important part of your life. Has it always been? Cause I feel like, man, I've just been last few weeks, which is, not a long time, but I've seen God show up in some very strong ways for me. So so are you finally like listening? I'm like, all right, God, okay, I get it. Like, all right.
Right. So you're like paying attention to those those, what they call sign, wonders,
Yeah.
and miracles. The Bible teaches us about those. And it's funny that maybe that's what this show is about today. And obviously
Yeah.
that's what about Wired Differently I would love to share with you is Wired Differently is actually the gospel,
Mm.
right? So we know that the only way to the kingdom is through Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. That's what the Christians believe. That's
Yep.
what the Bible teaches. And so I was picking on you. I was like, I'm going to show you my game, right? But I got sleeves all up and down. No, I don't. But I have one
See, I got,
tattoo right here.
this is St. Michael right here. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, that
This
dude,
is
the
like my favorite one right
the
here, yeah.
fallen ain't. Yeah. Oh, that is gorgeous.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that it's important that the viewers hear, and I think it's important that you hear this, that there's 3 stages to being wired differently, right? And the first stage is to understand that we come into this world wired differently. We come in, born into this world with some 1,000 trillion neurons in our baby brain by the time we're 3 years old. Just think about that. That's 15 zeros.
Yeah.
All right. So think about the connections of neurons and the things you could become with that type of cocktail, right? So we know that God has delivered some magnificent things in this baby brain. And by the time they're probably 7, 8 years old, that prefrontal cortex, your mind is developed, and now you can make decisions. And then all those neurons start to dissipate, and you're only keeping the ones that you're using, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we move from stage 1, being wired differently at birth, to stage 2, that where God has given us a prefrontal cortex, which is our mind. See, a baby isn't born with a mind, Nate. They don't make decisions. They cry, they poop, they eat. They're not deciding anything, man. God's growing their fingernails, growing their motor skills, starting to grow everything from their hair to their legs and their bones. There's no decisions being made, Nate. But by the time they're 7, this prefrontal cortex slipping away some of these neurons, and the brain now creates the prefrontal cortex, which is now your mind, and that's the CEO. That's what's driving the decisions in your championship leadership mind. Your decisions are starting to be formed. Now, what I teach in phase 2 is called actualization, right? So we have creation, stage 1, and then you have actualization, stage 2. And this is where we teach the subconscious to work for us. And the funny thing about the subconscious is that we know that as a baby, if you were to perish, God will take you in heaven because he created you in his image. But at some point in John 3:16, he says, listen, you have to accept Christ to become part of my kingdom. Well, here's the part where this mind is fully developed. Now the mind has to decide.
Yeah.
John 3:16.
Yeah.
I accept Christ in my heart. So I want you to know that God's created this brain, this subconscious, that allows you, right, to think for yourself. He's given you free will. You don't have him, but he created a brain in his image. He gave you all these superpowers. You know, you got the likes of Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. None of these guys want to profess Christ as their Lord and Savior, but for some reason they've created and amassed amazing wealth in this world.
Yeah.
It's because God didn't tether this mind to only work if he had you as his king, right? So at the end of the day, I can teach people how to make their subconscious work for them, right?
Yeah.
Right. And you know how that works. But last but not least, the third stage of being wired differently is actually moving past just understanding how the mind works from actualization, but to move to salvation. And that's what we teach about. I mean, if we can take a student, an entrepreneurial mindset person, if we can help them personally grow and we can help them spiritually grow, then we can help them profitably grow. And if we can triangulate all 3 of these stages, man, now we got something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Great
powerful.
question. Great question.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so I'll just use this to lead in. My 3rd book is out right now. I've got 5 books, but my 3rd in the series of Wired Differently is out. And the name of the book is Your Will Be Done. It's a beautiful book. So if anyone wants to go to toddsaylor.com, that's toddsaylor.com, Your Will Be Done. And we will put together a promo code for anybody on Nate's show that they're going to get a discount. Right now, the funnel is $29.99, Nate, but they get the workbook ebook, they get the ebook, they get the audio book, they get the paperback, and I pay for all the shipping for $29.99.
Oh,
So anyway,
man, come on.
Your will be done, baby. Let's get it on like Donkey Kong. Let it rip, potato chip. Let's get it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody, definitely go check that out. We'll get that linked up too. But what were the first 2 books? if you don't
The
mind,
first,
real quick.
yeah, so that's a great question. So the first book was titled Wired Differently, and that was what is wired differently. The second book was titled Drift Again, one word, DRIFTAGAIN, Drift Again. That was why we're wired differently. And then the
Okay.
third book now is how to become wired differently, how I
Love
can
it.
teach and coach you an entrepreneurial mindset through becoming wired differently. Your will be done. God has called us to have free will. God has also called us to become his will. And so we triangulate this idea of handling our own free will, kind of what you're talking about, with what God's will is. A lot of motivational speakers just don't want to touch this topic, but
Right.
I'm going for it. I think we
Yeah.
need both wills.
Need
We
it.
need both
We need
wills.
it right now for sure. How long has that been a part of your journey? God
My
and
first
being
God or
talking
the
it, teaching it, and
yeah, so
living
Wired
it.
Differently. That's a good question. Wired Differently is a 2018, 2019 model. We're coaching clients across the country now. Um, so the books and the whole I really wasn't sure what it was going to be when I wrote the first book. It was just a
Yeah.
brilliant book and
Yeah.
self-published, and we sold quite a few and we gave away quite a few. The second book did a crazy 10,000 plus books, which was really
Awesome.
a blessing.
Yeah.
This third book, I really believe we're going to launch a lot from it. Now we have the
Yeah.
coaching associated with. We have
Yeah.
a product called the Tiki Hut Retreat, where we fly people in from all over the country, and they come out here to my campus here on Anna Marie Island, Florida. And I've just been fortunate enough to have the resources to do amazing things for people. This entrepreneurial mindset retreat, this
Mhm.
business retreat, where we teach people how to grow personally, spiritually, and profitably. I
Yeah.
want them to make money, man.
Yeah.
I
Right.
can teach it. I can show it, right?
So, so many people they have something around making money, right?
Yeah,
Like, I don't
yeah,
know. They want to say that they don't need to make money because maybe they think it's bad, or it's a good excuse not to have to go out and do whatever is required to make money, is to say, I don't really need that much money. I'm good. But there's, man, so many people weird about money. What have you seen around that sticks out to you?
Well, I mean, I just think the Bible speaks of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no way we can get away from, doing what the world has called us to do here. We talk about being misfits of this world because we're not of this world once we've accepted Christ. But we also know that we have to roam around with earthlings, right? We have to be willing to show people that we live to a different standard.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to see a loser. I mean, in some regards, people who don't try and don't give it their best and don't take, especially in America, man. I mean, there's so much opportunity here. And those of
Yeah.
you that want to try, those of you who want to excel in an entrepreneurial mindset or a business mindset. I mean, I'm the guy that's done it for 40 years, right? Over
Yeah.
30 years. And there are basic principles, 12 jumpstart principles that I can teach you. And I promise you, I'll find you $100,000 in 45 minutes or less in your organizational process if you want to spend the time with me on that. But more importantly, once we get there, we got to understand really what matters.
Hmm.
How are
Yeah.
we going to keep this perceived wealth? Well, we're going to do it through personal growth, spiritual growth, and your
Love
own
it.
fruits or your profitability. And how
Yeah.
can we share this with others?
Yeah. Beautiful. What's we switch gears quick. What's a moment in your life where I call it like a critical moment, fork in the road? I think we all have a lot of these moments, but usually there's a number that stick out to us where, had you chose differently in that moment, you'd be in a very different place than you are today. And I think the listener, that's in that moment, there's always strength in hearing how others have navigated some of those times to get courage to make a decision themselves. So what is there a moment or two that comes to your mind when I frame that up for you?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, there's so many, but I would just tell you my first book I wrote. I mean, it's pounding on my head right now. So I would just tell you that I wrote where my first company, my first big company now, which is Payserve Systems Incorporation, which is arguably worth $30 million or more, depending on the multiple or the
Yeah.
world the way it's at. But there was a time in 1990, 99, which parlayed into the year 2000, 2001, where I literally was in a position where we had probably 50 clients, and my wife and I were building this company, and they were all clients of, 50 or less employees. And we had exhausted all of our resources, literally all of our resources. And it was like the lease was up and nothing was working. And at least to the point where we could pay our bills. And we had two babies, a third one on the way. It's just, or she was just born, Kara. And it was like, damn, this is over, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I started to look for a different place to rent. And as I looked through the community, looked at all these crappy places that I could possibly afford to. And long story short, I said, no, no, no. I mean, I'm playing to win, and I'm not leaving a rental situation to go to another poor rental situation. I have to show my potential customers that we're for real. And I thought to
Yeah.
myself, I need bricks and mortar. I need to be able to say I own something. Now, I didn't have any money. I didn't have any way to go through this, but so as it was, I started looking at buildings that were for sale, and I wanted businesses that had bricks on it, right? I don't know. I
Yeah.
wanted bricks and
Yeah.
mortar. I
Yeah.
wanted it
Yeah.
to be real. I wanted to
Right.
say, and sure enough, this particular building came up for sale by a man by the name of Jim Wren, and my good dear friend of my father's, Fred Beck, showed me the building. I said, I don't have any money, so he put me in the building, and they were going through an awful divorce, and no one was interested in the building, and it had to get done. And
Mm.
so the bottom line is I threw a land contract offer out on it back in the day,
Yeah.
2001, 2002, whatever that was. And the guy was in such a bad way. He said, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so once that kind of like that turned there, we moved our employees, the morale changed a little bit. Clients came through, people started, it just was a pivotal time and moment where, I believe I just let God step in, and I didn't quit. And I write about the beauty of that moment where
Yeah.
the entire pendulum switched
Right. Yeah.
right then.
Yeah. I love it. That's
And
huge.
now we have two offices, one here in Florida, one here in up north, and we have people working all over the country. And it went from being worth less to
Yeah.
amazing,
Powerful.
amazing wealth. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. As we wrap this up, one last question. What, if there's one or two things that you give the listeners that if they apply today would help move their life forward today, what would that be?
Oh, the first thing I would apply is faith in yourself, faith in a God, your God, our God. I think we put our treasures in the wrong places. I think we put too much of our treasures in things, and I'm guilty as the next person. I have about everything, I'm not willing to sell it all. I don't have to sell it all, but at the end of the day, we need to make sure that we're counting our treasures on what we do for other people. We're counting our treasures for the amount of time and faith we put on what God, our Father, is going to be able to provide and will provide for us.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's easy to say those things, but at the end of the day, I think that we need to be focused on that, because the rest will come in that regards. I think my unselfishness, certainly here in these later points in my life, have worked out in many, many regards, and the ability to share those stories and to coach people on how to move through life as a successionaire, not a millionaire, but a successionaire,
Yeah.
um, is really the best advice I can give you.
Yeah. Beauty. Love it. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Faith is one of those funny things that there's a reason it's called faith.
Yeah, I mean, if you
Put your
could do it
trust
on
in it.
your, yeah,
Yeah.
if you could do it on your own, and if all the answers were there, it's then, and if everybody just had God, it automatically, then there would be no reason for it at all. I mean, think of the
Right.
brilliant
Yeah.
concept behind it all. And
Yeah.
I'm just grateful that you had me on the show. I'm
Yeah.
grateful
I'm
that
thankful for you.
you're willing to be open. I mean, I don't know how many podcasts I've been on that none.
Yeah.
The guy showed up in a tank top with a tattoo
Right.
and said, I need to learn more about God. I mean,
Yeah,
what a
absolutely.
blessing you are to me. And I can't wait to reshare this. And I'm hopeful people can go to toddsaylor.com
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
find out more
Absolutely.
about the book, find out about the Tiki Hut retreat and my virtual
I mean,
academy.
come on, just the name alone. Who doesn't want to go to a Tiki Hut retreat? I do.
Well,
Come
we'd
on.
love to
You
have you,
tell me
man.
what?
You're a
Of
celebrity, right?
course.
You could wear that. You could actually take your whole shirt off at the Tiki Hut
There you
retreat.
go. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Sun's out, guns out. So might take you up on that for sure. Well, thanks again, Todd. This has been a blast. Appreciate you. And yeah, you just have a wonderful day. Yeah, that's right, baby. We almost got him to get the shirt off.
Oh, I can give you one shoulder.
Next time. There we go.
My wife's gonna go crazy. She's like, "Why do you do stuff like this?" Listen, you're an inspiration, brother. Keep doing what
All
you're
right.
doing. You have a great day. God bless you. And you know
You
what,
too.
Nate? You're wired differently, bro.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.